It can be embarrassing to make mistakes in communicating, right? For example, you send an email without proofreading it, and later you realize that it contained an error, or maybe you sent it to the wrong person. You may also realize that you didn't respond to an important email after having to be reminded that it had been sent several days ago. I'd like to discuss several communication mistakes that listeners make and may not even be aware that they're blunders. For instance, number one, over-identifying. Have you ever gone to a movie to find yourself feeling like you're actually a part of the movie? That's called over-identifying with the character or maybe the plot. And the same thing can happen in real, live relationships. Someone shares a story and the listener begins to feel the same emotion, or perhaps is reminded something very similar to their own experience. Then they'll have a hard time being objective and really listen to the story of the speaker, because it's now become about the listener's story instead of the speaker's. Or the opposite is under-identifying. Now, this happens when someone shares their story and the listener is just totally unable to identify any of the emotions or the topic. Either they can't identify with the feelings being expressed, or they're clueless about the content. They also may become just bored or find it difficult to stay in tune with the speaker. And so it can be easy to lose focus when you're disinterested in the story, and you may then demonstrate an uncaring attitude. Number three, just being impatient or interrupting. Now, this can happen in a number of ways. For instance, you're trying to listen to more than one conversation at a time. You're in the atrium at church and you're listening to all kinds of conversations. Or maybe you're paying attention to TV, radio, email, text while someone's talking. Believing that the speaker misspoke, and then you just try to correct them. Or you just simply are losing focus and you become easily distracted, fiddling with your hair, fingers, a pen, gazing out the window. Or maybe you just suddenly change the topic. Number four, people jump to conclusions. This can happen when a person finishes the speaker's thoughts and story, thinking maybe they already know where the person's going before they're finished, and so they jump in and conclude what the person is trying to say. The listener could also have just an opinion or a value that they believe to be correct, and it becomes very difficult to tune into the views of others if it contradicts your own preconceived ideas. And finally, number five, people need to fix and give advice. Some people just want to jump into a conversation and start offering advice, believing that's what the speaker is asking. But the truth is that people just want someone to listen to them, not fix them. Advice giving is not very helpful for two specific reasons. One is advice giving tends to create an environment where one person is informed and the other is not. And it can create a codependent relationship. Even if it's good advice, the person will come back for more advice, therefore eliminating creative approaches to solving their own problems. And the other reason that it's not very helpful is if the advice that you give doesn't work. Well, they certainly won't come back to you, but they will probably still seek it from somebody else. So you see, codependency still stays alive and well when you give advice. Well, at the conclusion of this course right now, this session, I want you to complete the self-assessment of the 5 barriers that we sometimes use when listening to someone's story. Consider, what are the barriers that you exhibit in your communication?